Welcome to the news brief for Saturday, March 21st, 2026. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope you've had a good week. It's been spring break here at the school, and so it's been quieter here, and I've been able to get caught up on some things, doing some cleaning. I got my taxes turned in and various things, so it's been a quiet week here at Good Shepherd. What is happening here? Well, this weekend, as you might know, we already have started the El Salvador appeal for our sister community down in El Salvador, El Buen Pastor. This weekend, Eric May will be speaking at all the masses, talking about his testimony and his experience there at El Buen Pastor and why we continue to support them and why that's a very important part of who we are, who we have been, and who we are as Good Shepherds. So please support the El Salvador appeal. This is the month that we are supporting it, and there'll be a special speaker this weekend. We are beginning our Penance Week this week. Monsignor Charles McGlynn, my first pastor, called it Penance Blitz Week, as we have confessions most nights this week. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday are the confession schedules. I will be at St. Paul tomorrow, and that's a long evening. That's a very big parish, and a lot of people come to that. So that's good. And then Monday night is our service. So we have our service at 7 o'clock. There'll be several other priests that will be here. It's also Holy Trinity and Holy Spirit. So there are times that are available for this area here. So Monday night is Holy Spirit, Holy Trinity, and ourselves. On Tuesday is Holy Cross, and there's not really anything else that's particularly nearby as well that on Tuesday evening. And on Thursday evening, it's St. Joseph and Sacred Heart are the closest ones around here. So that I will be at Sacred Heart that evening. And then on Sunday evening is kind of the last call at Nativity Parish. There's also one at the church in Wea, Holy Rosary in Wea in the afternoon. So Nativity is kind of the last call for the confessions. However, during Holy Week, we still will have confessions Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. There will not be confessions on Holy Thursday. One year I didn't sufficiently announce that, and there were like 45 minutes of confessions before the Holy Thursday Mass. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I won't be there on Monday, but I will be there on Tuesday and Wednesday for confessions. And Wednesday that's kind of the very last opportunity before Easter. This coming Wednesday, whatever date that is, here's more information. We have a prayer for peace and unity. I'm very excited about this. It's a wonderful opportunity. There's lots of things to pray for in our world today. And part of the original thing was there's been a lot of trepidation and concern in the immigrant community. And then there's been some trepidation, or there's been some concern in the not recent immigrant community as well of how can we help? So with all the events that were happening up in Minneapolis and other places, and they were hearing stories of great human interest stories of people saying, hey, I can help you out. If you're scared to go to the grocery store or whatever, I can do that. So there was some concern on and wondering how can I fulfill what the Lord is calling me to do, to care for my brothers and sisters and these that live right around me. And so it's kind of the birth of this evening. So we're going to have an evening of prayer and to pray for peace and unity in our world. And then, of course, there's the concern about the ongoing war and praying for unity and peace there as well. So that is on Wednesday evening. And so I'd encourage you to please come, and especially if you've been one of those that have expressed to me personally, and I can't remember everybody because there's been many, I'd like to do something for our brothers and sisters, our immigrant community. What can I do? First step one is to come to this service, 7 o'clock this Wednesday evening. I hope that you can make it. This coming Friday is the final fish fry and Stations of the Cross. So if you have not been there, I always ask, how is dinner? And they all say, oh, it's so good. It was so great. There was a guy named Jason who came down, I think he came from Wisconsin, if I recall correctly. And they always had fish fries up there. And he was he said it was great. So good review from Jason. And it has been delicious. So thanks to the Knights of Columbus for all your work during this Lenten time. I know it's a lot of work, but I think hopefully it's rewarding as well for you. So This weekend is also the food drive, so the Catholic Charities food truck will be here. So it's a great way to support, of course, during this Lenten time when we are called for prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. Holy Week services, that'll be not this week, but the following week. So of course we have as I said, the last call for confession on Wednesday night. That's a big night. And then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, those are the Triduum services, 7 p.m. on Thursday and Friday, and then 8 p.m. on Saturday. All of those services will be bilingual. And I know that some people don't like the bilingual thing. I know that. And I mean, most people prefer a unilingual celebration. That's true. It just does not work at the Easter Vigil. And so believe me, I've tried to consider, like, how can we do this differently? And I can't come up with any other way to do it. So we are a bilingual community, and we've got a very vibrant English speaking community and a very vibrant Spanish speaking community. And these events where we have basically one service in the evening, those are times when we've got to come together and be one. And it's really beautiful. I've compared it to Thanksgiving before, that all the family comes together, whether you like your family or not. It's good for us to be together as one community. So they are all bilingual, and we have hopefully gotten better at our bilingualness over the past few years. You know, I celebrate the bilingual Mass pretty much every 4 p.m. Mass on Sunday. And so I've gotten more accustomed to make those transitions. I try to repeat as little as possible. That's kind of a premise that I have. And I do try to lean a little bit more on the English side than on the Spanish side as well. Just that seems to be the right thing to do. So there is Spanish, there is English, and we are one community here at Good Shepherd. And so Thursday and Friday, Saturday, those are all bilingual services. We do have a couple of unilingual or mostly unilingual services on Friday as well. So Stations of the Cross is at 3 o'clock. It's a very popular event, 3 o'clock, Stations of the Cross in English. And then 5 o'clock, also a very popular event. And that's the live stations. It happens outside. They've been practicing for that for weeks. And if you've never been, you really should come. Even if you don't speak Spanish, I hear all the time that people say, why didn't I know about this sooner? This is amazing. And it really is. It's amazing, the work that goes into it and the way that they really are devoted to telling the story of the way of the cross. It's a really beautiful testimony. You don't really need to understand because we pretty much already know the stations. And it's just powerful to see it in action. So I really encourage you, if you've never been, that's a beautiful celebration. And I've said before, the one celebration that could possibly be unilingual is Good Friday. We could have two separate services for that. I was just talking to someone in Lawrence, St. John and Lawrence. They do have two separate Good Friday services. But as I've gone around in my head and tried to process how that could work, then something else has to move. And that's English stations is very popular at 3 o'clock, and that 5 o'clock stations is really popular at 5 o'clock. And there's not really another time to do a separate Good Friday service either. And just personally as a pastor, I love having that service where we all come to the cross and venerate our beautiful crucifix there together as one community. And I love seeing people come up and kissing the cross or touching the cross. And for many of them, I obviously don't know the whole story, but I know some of the stories that are coming up, and I see that the crosses that people have held, and it's really super powerful for me to see that. So anyway, so Good Friday is a lovely service. And then on Easter Saturday morning, there is the Easter egg hunt for people that are in third grade or below. That runs from 10 o'clock to about 10:03, I think. I think I've gotten there about 10:06, and it seems like it's already over. So, so be there at 10 because the eggs will be found, and they will be found fast out at the field out there in the back. So that's pretty much it for this week of GSN. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and we will see you next time.